Isaac Newton invented calculus, mapped gravity, and basically wrote the rule book the universe still runs on. In 1720, he put his fortune into the hottest stock in England, the South Sea Company, and lost about 20,000 pounds, millions in today's money. The man could predict the motion of planets. He could not predict what his neighbors were about to do.
Honestly, I didn't want to make a video about the AI bubble. Everyone with a microphone has already decided it's either the end of the world or the beginning of a new one, and both sides are very loud about it. But watching the argument, it hit me that nobody's asking the older question. Why does this keep happening to us? Because we've run this exact experiment before. Canals, railways, radio, the internet. Different technology every time, same ending every time. And every time, some of the smartest people alive walked straight into it.
So this isn't a video about whether AI is overvalued. I have no idea, and neither does anyone yelling at you about it. This is about the 300,000-year-old machinery in your head that makes bubbles inevitable. And by the end, you'll know the 3 warning lights that tell you yours has been switched on.
Start with the part everyone gets wrong. Bubbles are not built on fake technology. They're built on real technology. That's what makes them dangerous. In the 1840s, Britain went insane for railways. The railways were real. They transformed the world. Investors still lost their shirts. In the 1990s, the internet came along, and it genuinely did change everything. The NASDAQ rose 600% in 5 years, peaked in March 2000 at 5,048 points, and then fell 78%. The internet kept right on changing the world, while the people who bet on it lost nearly everything. Sit with that. Being right about the technology did not save them, because a bubble was never a bet on technology. It's a bet on other people. Which brings me to a beauty contest. In 1936, the economist John Maynard Keynes explained speculation with a newspaper game of his era, where readers won by picking not the face they found prettiest, but the face they expected everyone else to pick. Translate that out of Cambridge professor English. You're not betting on the company. You're betting on what the crowd will bet on. And once everyone's doing that, the price stops carrying information about the asset. It only carries information about the mood, which is why a bubble doesn't need fools to inflate. It needs smart people who are sure they'll be out the door before the fire starts. And if you think you'd simply resist the crowd, I have bad news from a psychology lab. In 1951, Solomon Asch ran one of the most famous experiments ever conducted. He showed people 2 cards, one with a single line, one with 3 lines of obviously different lengths, and asked which line matched. Alone, people got it right 99% of the time. A child could do it. Then Asch surrounded each participant with actors who all confidently gave the same wrong answer. 37% of the time, people abandoned their own eyes and agreed with the group. 3 out of 4 people caved at least once. Read that again. They weren't confused about the lines. They could see the truth. The crowd just outvoted their eyeballs. Now swap the lines for a stock price. You've done the reading, you have doubts, and everyone around you is confidently getting rich. Your coworker, your cousin, a guy on a podcast. How long do your eyeballs hold out? There's a reason your brain folds like this, and if you've been following this channel, you already know where it comes from. For 300,000 years, when your whole tribe suddenly ran the same direction, the correct move was to run first and ask questions later. The ones who stopped to independently verify the lion got eaten by it. Following the herd wasn't weakness. It was the best information processing shortcut on the savannah. Your brain still treats the crowd as evidence. But a market is the one place where that shortcut punishes you hardest.
because by the time the whole herd is running, the price already reflects the running. And here's the cruelest detail in the whole story, the one Newton teaches us. He didn't just buy the South Sea Company. He bought early, watched it rise, and sold with a 100% profit. A double, a win. Then the price kept climbing without him. His friends kept getting richer without him, and the greatest scientific mind of his age bought back in, near the top with even more money. The thing that destroyed Newton wasn't greed. It was watching other people get rich. There is no force on earth quite like it. Charles Kindleberger, the great historian of financial manias, put it best. There is nothing so disturbing to one's well-being and judgment as to see a friend get rich.
So now, the present tense. This year, the biggest technology companies on Earth are on track to spend nearly $700 billion building AI infrastructure. That's not a number a human brain can hold, so let me stage it properly. It's roughly $1.9 billion a day, $80 million an hour, about $22,000 every second. In the 10 minutes you spend watching this video, big tech will have spent another $13 million. That is either the greatest infrastructure bet in human history paying off, or the largest pile of borrowed conviction ever assembled. And here's my honest position. I don't know which, and neither does anyone else, because the technology being real, remember the railways, remember the internet, tells you nothing about whether the price is. What I can tell you is how to check your own head. 3 warning lights. 1. You want to buy because the price went up, not because you learned something new about the asset, because the line moved and the herd is visibly running. That urge is the Asch experiment happening inside you in real time. 2. What you feel is anxiety, not conviction. Real conviction feels calm. You'd be happy if the price dropped, because you could buy more of a thing you understand. Bubble brain feels like a fear of being left out of a party that's already started. If missing out hurts more than losing money would, that's not analysis. That's the tribe sprinting past your window. 3. You can't explain what you own. Not the story, the thing. Newton couldn't have told you how the South Sea Company would actually make money. Almost nobody in 1999 could explain how their favorite .com would either. If your explanation is just someone else's confidence, passed along like a rumor, you're not investing. You're playing the beauty contest. One more thing about the machinery, and almost nobody talks about it. It runs in reverse. The same instinct that makes you buy when everyone's buying makes you sell when everyone's panicking. Crashes aren't calm corrections. They're stampedes toward the exit. It's the Asch experiment running backwards at double volume because, as we covered before, your brain feels losses twice as hard as gains. The investors who got destroyed in 2000 weren't only the ones who bought the top. Plenty of them bought genuinely great companies and then let the fleeing herd talk them into selling the bottom. Amazon fell more than 90% in that crash. Then it became one of the greatest investments in market history for the handful of people whose nerve outlasted the stampede. None of this means AI is doomed, and none of it means sit out the future. The railway investors who survived weren't the ones who avoided railways. They were the ones who never bet money they couldn't lose on a mood they couldn't explain. The technology can be a revolution, and the price can be a mania at the same time, comfortably. History's verdict is that they usually are. Because here's the boring truth 3 centuries of bubbles agree on. The winners were never the people who called the top. They were the people who never needed to. 300 years ago, the smartest man alive watched his neighbors get rich and lost a fortune chasing him.
The machinery that broke him is still installed in every one of us. And if you want to see where it came from, the case we did on how cavemen invented your money problems is the natural next step. Watch that one next. And subscribe, because the best defense against your own brain is knowing exactly what it's up to.